They had a record revenue year, so what's going on with compensation here?
Yeah, so, as you mentioned, JPMorgan is going to be boosting the pool for traders by about 15 to 20%. That was after the trading business generated a record $23.5 billion in the first 9 months of the year. But, it's been kind of a tale of two cities year for the banks. Even though traders have done phenomenally, the other side of the bank, consumer or wholesale lending, those businesses are preparing for massive losses in their lending books. And so this divergence in pay kind of reflects, the lopsided way that the pandemic has impacted banks. Overall revenue at JPMorgan isn't at a record this year, but the trading revenue is. So, traders are going to benefit from that, but they also aren't going to get as much as maybe some of them anticipated because the bank, Jamie Dimon, CEO of JPMorgan, he loves protecting their balance sheet. He calls it the fortress balance sheet. And so he's going to be very focused on cutting costs. And that's part of why there are going to be smaller payouts for the rest of the firm.
As well as salary freezes.
Exactly, yeah. So we understand that executives are preparing smaller payouts for, across the board at the firm, with average bonuses expected to be down from last year, and raises are expected to be frozen for most people that are at the vice president level and above. And that actually mirrors something that we saw out of Wells Fargo. A couple weeks ago, we reported that they were also going to be freezing raises for some higher top earners at the bank as they also prepare for, an uncertain 2021.
What does this signify as a trend for the rest of the industry?
So, other banks are going to want to stay competitive, but they are also dealing with some of the same issues that JPMorgan is dealing with. Many are dealing with possible consumer losses, possible wholesale lending losses, depending on, how the economy shakes out next year and at what point we get a vaccine. And so the fact that JPMorgan is freezing some raises, that could provide cover for other banks to do something similar. So far, we know that Bank of America is discussing keeping the bonus pool for traders close to last year's level, so basically flat. And that surprised people across the industry because compensation consultants have been saying that Wall Street was going to get generous raises this year. But, the fact that we have Bank of America saying it'll probably be flat, JPMorgan, which is, the top trading firm out there generating record amount of revenue, boosting pay 20% for traders is great, but it's also, it pales in comparison to the 48% jump in revenue that JPMorgan's traders saw. So if this is the cream of the crop and they're, expecting a 20% increase, then the expectations for others could be lower.